This is Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this podcast series is called Spiritual Immersion, Taking the Plunge. And the intention of this series is to support you and empower you to begin to step into a relationship with your spiritual self, with your higher self, with, as I heard the other day, the skinless beings that are always present in our lives around us. And the greater degree that we spend attending to that relationship and to those aspects of us that are unseen, the greater degree of confidence and safety and well-being we feel, the more peace and serenity we experience, I think. And the more we're in alignment with our spiritual principles and our highest truth and our highest knowing. And when we're in our highest truth and our highest knowing, and our actions integrate from that place, we bring our highest contributions to the world. And at that point, when we're in our highest truth and our highest good, and we're acting in our highest good, we're supporting and empowering everyone to do that together, even though we're doing it, it seems, individually. So all of us are doing this. Everyone is on this path to one degree or another. We're all at various speeds, various locations, various destinations in our minds and our hearts. And my intention is to give you some elements or aspects or thoughts about my own experience and what I know from my experience and from reading and listening to other people, stuff that might be helpful and useful to you to keep you inspired, keep you courageous, keep you brave. Because a lot of what we're up to and doing takes a lot of courage and it takes strength. And it takes more than just reading books and listening to videos and saying, yeah, I get that. There's this element of training and there's this element of being in the process without the expectation of the outcome. And that's the intention of this particular podcast today, is to talk about that level of expectation, that level of assumption, the level of attachment to the outcome. And that actually usually, the point is, it gets in our way of actually being in this process. So, for example, though I've had a number of these spiritual immersion processes in my life, the latest one began about 10 years ago. I think I've mentioned that to you. And I was in a lot of pain, suffering emotionally and psychically. And I was anxious all the time. I was in dread all the time. I had very little capacity for joy. And I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop, which is sort of a big essence of dread. And so as I began to seek a place of no suffering, if you will, that was the way that I entered this process of spiritual immersion, is just looking for a way out of my suffering. And part of that was using the 12-step process of recovery. Though I'm not an addict of a substance, I'm an addict of emotional patternings and psychic patternings and mental patternings. And those patternings kept me in a state of struggle, suffering, dread, despair. Not fun. So my whole intention was to get out of the suffering. I had no idea that in terms of this process of ascension, this process of lightening my density, of lightening my energy levels, of clearing my cellular memory of old energies and patterns, I had no idea that what would be happening to me would be really cool stuff, as in enjoying joy, experiencing joy, feeling less dread, being afraid so much less than I've ever been. It just didn't, I lived in a state of fear forever. I apologize for my phone going off. And so the point here is that we have an attachment quite often to what we're going to get from such a process. And as long as we're trying to get something, then we are in essence in a state of lack, and that will slow you down. It certainly slowed me down for a long time. A friend of mine was telling me about Adyashanti, who's a spiritual teacher. I think he's in California. And he talks about the fact that it took him about 14 years before he got to a place where he was really in a state of more peacefulness and serenity, and more in an enlightened state. An enlightened state doesn't mean that you're beyond human dilemmas or human challenges. It just means that you have a different focus and a different intention in being here and holding that environment, that presence. Gracie, that's my dog. Gracie, no barking. So, that's a good point where people go, oh my God, I can't do this for 18 years or 14 years. I can't do this for 10 years. I can't do this. And that's what it was like for me when I started this. And I just didn't even want to do it for a week. I thought I'll do it for a week and then I'll be better and it'll be all over. Well, it wasn't a week and it wasn't a month and it wasn't a year. It has been a 10-year so far evolution of me. And the bottom line is you start going, oh my God, I can't wait till this is over. And I'm feeling better, feeling normal, feeling myself again. But then there's a point where you go, wow, this is the evolution of me. This is what is now, is this continuing unfolding of me every day, something new, something different, something fun, something arises. Sometimes it's not so fun in a sense. Lately I've been in a particular process, excavation of some patterning, and it's not comfortable, but it's part of what is. And I'm also aware that as part of the process of the spiritual immersion, there are times where it is uncomfortable. And so I have to give up my attachment to, first of all, it being over, because this is has been ongoing for your whole lifetime, my whole lifetime, our lifetimes. But we're getting to the point where we're conscious of our evolution. We're conscious of making choices that allow us to live in our higher truths, our highest principles, rather than continuing to live in our old patterns that create suffering for ourselves or others. Yoda in the Star Wars series says, train yourself to let go of what you are afraid to lose. One of those things is losing my ability to expect that I'm going to have the outcome I want when I want it. And that is such a huge element of our consensus view of reality, is if I put in the time and put in the effort, I will get the rewards. And we have a sense of that being a particular time, excuse me, in the sense of if I work at a new job for 6 months, I'm going to get a raise. Or if I work, for 6 years, I'm going to get a bigger raise or bonuses or all those kinds of rewards for the efforts we put in. And if we don't see the rewards, we get frustrated and we get pissed off, we get angry, and we might even do some self-punishing things or try to punish God because we're not getting the rewards as we expected or assumed. If I put in the time, like I said, if I put in the energy, I'm going to get the rewards and the results. In the book Oneness, which I talk about all the time, by Rasha, it says, the highest vibrational results are always forthcoming. And I love that because it's the highest vibrational results are always forthcoming. And it's like, but they should be here now because I've done all this work and I'm this smart and I'm this spiritual, I'm this and this and this. And it's like, it's not coming. If it's not coming, then I need to do some work to increase my vibrational resonance to that which I say I want. In this case, it's mostly peace and serenity. And playfulness and being back in my creative life as a human spirit person. So the intention again of this particular podcast is to say we come into this process of spiritual immersion quite often with a lot of expectations, and we're seeking the results of this work, as opposed to this is the results, this is the gift, this is the preciousness of a human life, is to know yourself and to experience yourself directly in this moment. When we're expecting something, we're not in the moment, we're in the future. We're going, okay, if I do this, then I'll get that outcome. So I have an intention that more prosperity, greater degrees of abundance will be here with me. And it is. And not in terms of millions and not in terms of, hundreds of thousands, but I have a stability and I have a sense of prosperity within me now that I never had before, and such gratitude for what I have. And I keep doing the work because the work keeps bringing me to another level of me that I never knew. That's the reward, is I get to know me. And in doing this work, I get to encourage and support and empower you to get to know you in your fullest potential, in your fullest potentiality as the expression of the divine. Isn't that cool? I'm saying it as if it's easy. Oh yeah, that's what I want. And every day that you are in the practice, in the training of being present with you and being present with your spiritual principles and divine sense of knowing, and working from your intuition and from your inspiration, and being a creative force for yourself, you're being that for everyone on the planet. So again, you will have expectations, and there's the intention to detach from those expectations, and that takes training, and it takes time, and it's incremental. So just be in the practice of being you. Watch your frustrations. Be frustrated, because you're going to be frustrated, and go, oh yeah, I'm frustrated about that. And notice the attachments that you have to things being the way you want, as opposed to being how they are, the isness of who you are, the isness of the situation and the environment that you're in currently. All right, that's it for today. If you have any questions, or if you're interested in doing some coaching with me, please email me at rosie@theparadigmshifts.com. And if you're looking for books to read that might be inspiring, I have books on Amazon, Self-Empowerment 101, The ABCs of Spirituality in Business, Cultivating Spirituality in Children, Aging Like a Guru, and a whole bunch more. So check them out on Amazon or at my website, theparadigmshifts.com. All right, big hugs to you. Bye for now.